Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. We're halfway through Eldritch Moon preview season, so I thought we would take stock of the set and figure out where we're at in terms of power. In this video, we're going to talk about the standout cards revealed so far based on raw power, playability in general, and playability in specific formats. Remember, Magic isn't just about Standard, it's about Modern, Commander, Cube, and a lot more. Keep that in mind. Also be sure to tune in to the channel at midnight Eastern Time tonight. Our exclusive preview card will be revealed then. You won't want to miss it. Let's do this thing. Now remember, just because a card isn't on this list doesn't mean it isn't good. It just means it either doesn't have a place yet or doesn't have the raw power that these cards have. We'll begin with number 10, Distended Mindbender. The reason why this card is in the top 10 is twofold. First, Eldrazi and Standard are more powerful than you think, especially when they have something to build towards. Second, this has a merge. This cost reduction mechanic is bonkers in theory. In a vacuum, the ability to lower the cost of a giant creature by a lot is stupidly powerful. Distended Mindbender is one of the best emerged payoffs we have so far. I mentioned it before, but turn 3 Matter Reshaper into turn 4 Distended Mindbender is insane. Even if the card is countered for some reason, you still get the Reshaper's trigger, you still get to wreck your opponent's hand, and they used a counterspell. It's basically 1.5 for 3 as long as there are targets in their hand. This isn't Thought-Knot Seer, but a merge makes it way more powerful than you think. If an Eldrazi deck exists in Standard, the Mindbender will definitely be considered for it. Coming in at number 9 is Stromkirk Condemned. This is the single best madness enabler for vampires in all of Standard right now. If vampires become a tier 1 deck, it will be because of Stromkirk Condemned's broken ability. No mana cost as part of the madness trigger, Anthem effect for your vampire is fairly costed, you can use it each turn. Make no mistake, this card is a vampire lord, you just get the added benefit of being able to finally play your madness spells without having to pay extra mana to do it. Incredibly powerful, so much value. It's possible this card should be higher on the list, honestly. It's going to support an entire archetype in Standard. Number 8 is Thalia Heretic Cathar. When this card was first spoiled, everyone freaked out because it's another white human card for the humans deck. Well, that is true, and this is going to make a super annoying addition to that strategy. It brings with it a ton of value for banned company type decks. Collected Company is incredibly powerful already, and the fact that it can get Thalia makes it even better. Secure the Waste is a powerful card right now, using Collected Company in response, grabbing Thalia, and forcing those tokens to enter the battlefield tapped could end a game. Not to mention her innate ability to tap down Pain lands, and the small fact that she's a 3/2 with First Strike. Tough to beat in combat, slows your opponent's tempo, it's a great card. Number 7 is Collective Brutality. There are a few reasons this card is on the list. First, it's already being considered in Eternal formats, especially Legacy, due to popular Reanimator strategies. The ability to discard your fatty while simultaneously destroying a Deathrite Shaman is nothing to scoff at. That can end the game right there, it's crazy strong. Even in Standard, while Madness isn't super powerful in anything but vampires, against humans, this card is incredibly impactful. We're talking destroying an early Thalia's Lieutenant while taking away a Declaration in Stone. That's the example going around right now, and it's a good one. The Brutality, while requiring you to discard a card, does perform 2 very important functions. Pseudo Duress plus removal. If you discard a card you don't need, or a card you could use later, the card advantage is yours. The versatility on this card is mainly why it's on this list so high. There's simply so much it can do, and so many places it could fit. Remember, raw power is a factor here. Speaking of black cards, number 6 is Tree of Perdition. You might be surprised to see this card on the list, but you really shouldn't be. The obvious is that it combos with Triskaidekaphobia in Standard for some serious beats. Might be interesting in a control style deck, but that's not why it's on the list. It's here because of Commander. Every few sets, there's a card that fundamentally breaks Commander's rules, takes advantage of the 40 starting life total. We've seen it before. Felidar Sovereign, Serra Ascendant, Sorin Markov. These cards abuse that condition. Tree of Perdition is just the latest in a line of broken cards in Commander. Not only do you instantly deal 27 damage, basically, you're left with a 0-40 wall. What if you're playing Doran? That's insane. Even without that, the ability to just tap and take away 27 life, maybe more if they've gained life, insanity. This card is a Commander staple forever. I guarantee it'll be the most played black card in Commander from the set ever. It's totally broken. Breaking into the top 5 is Harmless Offering. I know a lot of you look at this card as a joke because it's a cute little kitty, but you definitely should not. The combo with Demonic Pact is a strong one, but there are greater issues at play here. Harmless Offering, for all intents and purposes, is a functional reprint of a reserved list card. Now, it doesn't let you donate a card to yourself, but that isn't used nearly as often as donating to an opponent. Harmless Offering is in the top 5 because of what it represents. We have a color-shifted functional reprint of a reserved list card. At worst, this opens a door to similar cards in the future. No big hoop to jump through like Treasure Cruise or Temporal Trespass. It's a simple, functional reprint. Now, this will fit into Zedru and Commander, that's for sure. But you can't tell me that there isn't going to be brewing in Standard for this card. If Donate was in Modern years ago, I'm sure decks would have been made there. Time to see what they would look like. Coming in at number 4 is Decimator of the Provinces. If you understand how powerful Craterhoof Behemoth is, then this placing should not surprise you. The Decimator, while expensive, does come with Emerge, making this the single best Emerge creature we have so far. Having Trample and Haste on a 7/7 is nothing to mess with. That's great, but the real power is the cast trigger. Creatures you control get +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. Many overruns are powerful, and getting this on cast is better than entering the battlefield, which is what the old Hoof needed. I'm not saying this is better because I don't think it is, but we're talking about a supremely powerful effect in both Standard and Commander. In Standard specifically, Cryptolith Rites decks. Sacrifice one of your Scion generators, play this for 6 or 7, or sacrifice a Brood Monitor and play it for 3. Everything is huge, swinging like a boss. The potential power of this card is off the charts, and it has many practical uses. If you don't believe it'll be amazing in Standard, say hello to its new friend Animar. You're welcome. Top 3, things are starting to get real. You all know Gisela the Broken Blade had to be on this list. Number 3 is where she's settling as of right now. Look, her raw power is the entire reason she's this high up on the list. She's in white, which is already the strongest color in Standard. She's a 4-mana 4/3 flyer, which is already decent, and she comes with First Strike and Lifelink to boot. We're talking mini Baneslayer Angel here. Even beyond that, she's part of the best meld card that turns into an Eldrazi Angel. Granted, that's a very small advantage as far as I'm concerned, it's still there. Gisela is simply the most powerful creature printed in the set so far, and I don't think it's close at all. Number 2 is Tamiyo Field Researcher. I suppose it's a bit skewed because Planeswalkers are naturally good permanents. There's limited ways to remove them, and they basically function as a second player, so they are generally more powerful than most other card types. I did take that into account. Tamiyo is still number 2. We'll begin with Commander. Pair her with Doubling Season, and you get to ultimate her right away, and she stays alive. Doubling Season only doubles the counters she enters the battlefield with, not the counters added per turn. That's an issue for a whole other video, but as long as you know that, then we're good. Play Doubling Season, play Tamiyo, she comes in with 8 counters, you draw 3 cards and get a free Omniscience. As far as Planeswalker Ultimates go, Tamiyo's is one of the most powerful ever printed, and one of the most attainable. Let me explain. Tamiyo is banned. This means that in Commander, she will be protected. You'd be hard-pressed to find a banned Commander deck that didn't have sufficient protection for its Planeswalkers. Not only that, but she starts on 5 loyalty if you want. That's a lot for a 4-mana walker. It's strong. Let's pivot focus to Standard, though. She's already slated for inclusion in banned company strategies, as well as a few banned humans builds I've seen running around. Her +1 takes advantage of every creature on the battlefield. It practically guarantees she at least replaces herself. Not only that, but with the power of Sylvan Advocate right now, Vigilance? It's whenever the creature deals combat damage. That's on attack and block. You kidding me? That's more incidental card advantage than most any walker has allowed before. It's crazy strong. If you don't need that, her second ability completely stops powerful creatures in their tracks, effectively fogs for you and removes blockers if that helps. You could spend a turn tapping stuff down, next turn +1, attack with your Vigilance creatures for free thanks to the Always Watching I know you're playing, then have them back on defense to draw even more cards. Do you see the snowball here? Do you see how many useful lines of play Tamiyo creates? She's a tempo and card draw machine. Well worth her spot on this list. We've made it all the way to number 1. If Tamiyo and Gisela aren't number 1, what is? Yeah, it's Eldritch Evolution. I firmly believe that this card fundamentally breaks Modern. It wasn't too long ago that Birthing Pod was banned because of its toolbox nature. Wizards was going to keep printing cards that would be useful with Birthing Pod, so it would keep getting better. Eldritch Evolution isn't Birthing Pod, but come on, it functions under the same premise. It's a toolbox card, a really efficient one at that. Turn 1 Mana Dork, turn 2 Evolution, Magus of the Moon. I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. That's stupid. You could do Kitchen Finks into Archangel of Thune in those Court of Calling decks. It can grab any part of the Melira combo you want. There's no end to this card's usefulness. It's actually ridiculous. Don't even get me started on Commander, where it's an auto-include in every single green deck that cares about the creatures it wants to play or about sacrificing. I don't understand how sacrificing a Voice of Resurgence into a Siege Rhino is at all fair. The card's broken, it's outrageous, and it's definitely the best card in Eldritch Moon printed so far, easily. I feel like it's not even close. Delved Tasigur into Gristlebrand, Angler into Iona, I gotta stop. One more thing to throw it way over the top. Turn 1 Mana Guy, turn 2 Allosaurus Rider, Eldritch Evolution, Gristlebrand. Yeah, I'll leave that there for you. Good games. And with that, we conclude our top 10 list of the best Eldritch Moon cards spoiled thus far. What do you think? Do you agree with the list? Disagree? Do you think anything was left out? Let me know how you feel about these cards in the comments. Gotta know what you're thinking. And remember, tune in tonight at midnight Eastern Time for our exclusive Eldritch Moon preview card. You do not want to miss that, trust me. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Eldritch Moon spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Eldritch Moon has some insane cards in it. It really does. Time to take advantage of pre-order prices just in case things get out of hand. Normally I never pre-order, but there are select cases. Eldritch Evolution is one of them. You can grab your copies for around $13 each right now. That might seem high, but I feel like that's fair for how stupid this card is. I could be wrong and I don't want to speculate, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Don't want to pre-order? No problem. Matter Reshaper, I'm telling you, this card is going to break out in Standard. I feel it in my bones. It's still $2. How is this fair? If you think even remotely that you might play the deck, please get the Reshaper. It's so cheap.